reach someone, warm them, or provide me some tips before I start the program so that I can prepare ahead. And this is all the comments that we received from our students before that. So here we are. I would like to bring you the highlight of today's event, where we invited a panel of students to share from their student perspective, their experience as a bar student, and their tips to succeed in the program and before becoming a barrister. I would like to introduce Arvin from KL, and he is doing the bar training program master course at BBP London. Shannen from KK Sabah, and she is doing the Masters of Law at Northumbria University. And next, I would like to introduce Christina Jashens, and she is doing the bar LLM at University of Law London. Arvin, Shannen, and Christina, would you want to share and turn on your camera so that we can like start the sessions?
Hi everyone, I'm Arvin, and I'll be one of your guest speakers for today.
Thank you, Arvin. Hello, Shannen.
Hi, I'm Shannen, and I'll be one of the guest speakers for today.
Thank you. And Christina?
Hi, I'm Christina. I'll be one of the student panel today. I'm studying in the University of Law London Bloomsbury campus, and I'm doing BPC with LLM, specifically the pro bono route.
Thank you. Good to hear from you guys. I know that it's been a very busy schedule for you guys. And thank you very much for sparing from your the very busy schedule to come and speak to prospective student, the future student that considering to do bar. So anything that you think that would be from your personal point of view, someone could told you before, then you could properly prepare it while you're doing for the law degree, no matter whether you are doing on the second year or the final year. So that would be very helpful and insightful for the future students if they're considering to do bar. Okay. For students attending for today, it's this very precious opportunity have students here today to share from their perspective. I hope if you have any questions, just feel free to unmute yourself, or you can type the questions on the chat box. So Arvin, Shannen, and Christina can share their point of view or perspective and share any tips or the important essential preparations. Okay. I think I gathered quite a few of the questions from students, like they just knowing that it's a very challenging and very tough programs to do. So how exactly it be like? Would Christina, you shared about your the day-to-day schedule as a bar student?
Yeah, so basically for me, we have 2 days a week for the bar course and classes. So we have 1 day for criminal and 1 day for civil. And then since I'm doing LLM as well, sometimes we would have a day allocated for the LLM. For pro bono, we have to prepare for real cases. So sometimes we do have to travel to like the prison to visit clients. So that's 1 day for that. But other days we would have to prepare for the bar classes itself. There's quite a lot of reading. But yeah, I would say still take time to like take breaks. But our classes are normally from 9 to 1:30. Sometimes the workshop get extended to like 5. So it is a busy course, but just organize the time and you'll be fine.
Okay, right. Thank you, Christina. What it is like at Northumbria University? Shannen, would you mind to share from your point of view, from your experience?
Yes. So in Northumbria, I'm taking the Masters of Law bar course. So my classes, for me, I think it's quite packed, but I think it's just the start of the year, because I saw my November schedule and it's more packed than today. So I have a Monday to Thursday class. I usually have 3 9 a.m. classes, and it always ends in the afternoon, like 2 p.m. or sometimes 5 p.m. So personally, I think it is a big change from studying a law degree, because bar course requires constant productivity and hard work in order to catch up with the modules and the workload. The modules in the bar course are quite bulkier than a degree modules. I would say it's just recaps of our first to final years of degree, but in a more in-depth information, and it's more bulkier, which makes the workload more like heavy. But in a way, it also makes it interesting, because not only do we know the base of the module already, but we can also learn more about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Shannen. What about you, Arvin? If you're comparing work as a final year degree students as compared to the bar programs at BPP London so far, how would you like compare in between, and yeah, give us some expectations.
Well, I feel personally like every year is a bit different. Like, because for the past 3 years, I've been in 3 different institutions, first BAC, then Essex, and then now finally at BPP. And I feel before this, a lot of people can relate that when you were doing it online, you didn't have to put in as much effort. But when you really come towards the bar course, I feel like before every class, you really need to do a reading, because you need to always know what's happening in the class. You always need to be one step ahead in terms of that things, because you can always do your work aside from stuff, but you always have to do your readings before class, because if you do not do it, I feel you'll get left behind in class, because it's a course that flows really fast. So you really have to keep on you have to keep in touch with it. If not, it might really be really hard to catch up when it comes to times for assessments and exams. So yeah.
Okay, I think that is just the thing that we're going to talk later. So Arvin shared a very important tips that if that is a very quick flow programs and requiring students to have a got to stay focused, and there is no time for you to lag behind. And if you properly finish this assessment or the projects, then the next that you cannot be like, oh, I want to take a break, 1 week or holiday, and then come back again. Then properly that would lay behind than the other classmates, or you may have a lot of words pending. So is that the same for you, Christina?
Yeah, so basically we have 2 classes a day for criminal. We have criminal litigation, which is basically they go through the law. And then the next class would be like a workshop or like advocacy skills, where you have to present your case. And you have to prepare it at once, because you'll be working with another person in your group who is likely to be acting as a client. So you will have to prepare it so that it's not just for yourself, but for your other cohorts as well, because you'll be working together. But in general, I would say for preparation at like 3rd year, just revise your contract law, tort law, and criminal law, because that is basically the main areas of law we will deal with in the bar course. And if you're thinking of going into pro bono, most of the cases are around family law. So also focus on that area and maybe revise or like organize your notes from LLB. And otherwise, I would say for now, as an undergrad, just focus on your undergrad. And if you can, try to get like a first class or second offer, because that will give you an advantage in your application and interviews and stuff like that. But for now, I would say just focus on your undergrad. Yeah.
Thank you, Christina, to share. And students, if you're doing year 2 or year 3, to take the advice from Christina, be focused and do well in the criminal law, tort law, and family law. If you're taking pro bono, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. And Shannen, what do you think that very important if you would like to advise yourself, if you are to yourself, if you imagine that you're doing year 2 or year 3, probably there's some advices to yourself or to other students to prepare if you want to take up the bar programs?
I think I would advise that starting from year 2 or year 3, you have to start reading more. You have to start organizing your time. Like, you really need to use all the free time that you have, because if you slack, you will be left behind, as according to what Arvin said. Because like what he said as well, the bar is a fast course. So if you don't prepare for the next class, you will you will be left behind, and also you will get called out by your lecturer or your tutor. So I think the three advice that I would advise myself or other people would be to organize your time, read more, and also, but most importantly, I think we should all remember that we still need time for ourselves, like a break, or just do something for ourselves that makes ourselves feel better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. It is really fast-paced course. Imagine that in 1 year times, 8 to 9 months, you got to complete so many modules, and then there are 10 assessments to complete. And in between the time, you got to jam with the 10 QS session. So the next, we would want to ask about the ins of course experience. So I think quite many students, when they're applying for bar programs, they always come to me and ask MP, which ins that you think is good, and which one is like more popular among Malaysian. So I usually ask students to check on the websites, and that would be definitely, like just Miss Maggie said, that this is on preference and nothing really will affecting your future specialized modules or whatever. But from people, students like you, when you chose for the ins of course, what made you to come the decision that you want to, like Lincoln's Inn or Meadows Temple? These are the two popular inns of courts among Malaysian. So would you want to share about how did you like why which inns of courts that you chose, and then why you want to choose to be a member? And Christina, would you want to like speak on this?
Yeah, so I'm in Lincoln's Inn. Lincoln's Inn is one of the oldest, and it's closest to where I stay. But there are a lot of Malaysians in the Lincoln's Inn. Arvin is one of them as well, and I also knew people there, and the library in the Lincoln's Inn is like very huge and comprehensive. But also they do this residential weekend where you get to stay for like 3 days, 2 nights somewhere and do trainings and workshops, and you get like 6 qualifying sessions. So you only need 10 qualifying sessions to get called to the bar, and the residential weekend itself gives 6. So that is very valuable to me. But also, I just like to add, like, you can still travel to other inns for their library. You're not limited to the only inn where you're the member of. And I've heard that my friend who's in Middle Temple, he has more events and activities. And also for Middle Temple, you get interviewed. Everyone gets interviewed for scholarship. So you have more chances for scholarship. And for Grace Inn, my friend is in Grace Inn. They have more lesser member, so their community is more close knit. So you can also consider that. And for Inner Temple, I heard that they have more workshops and trainings. So I guess you just choose which one you prefer at the end of the day. Yeah.
Shannen, I remember you registered as a member for Meadows Temple. So what made you to choose Meadows Temple?
Okay. Well, at first I chose Middle Temple because a lot of my friends say it's another home for Malaysians, because 80% of the Middle Temple are Malaysians. And I went to a qualifying session. I went to 3 qualifying sessions last month. in London, and I can say that is true. Yeah, like 80% of them are Malaysians, which makes me feel like home. But besides that, I did do further research on it, and I found out that the first woman barrister to be called to the bar in Middle Temple, she made legal history when she was the first woman to make use of the Sex Disqualification Removal Act 1999, where it says that, I mean, before this act, women can't be barristers, but because of her, we are here today. Like, we have the chance to become women barristers in our generation, and I think that is really, really something amazing. So yeah, I do not regret my choice, but I do have a lot of friends coming from Inner Temple, Gray's Inn, and Lincoln's Inn, and I do hear a lot of amazing stories from them as well, like all the different kinds of events and all the different kinds of members. And I think all kinds of, I mean, all of the inns are great. And just like what my colleague said, you just need to know which one you prefer the most. Yeah.
Thank you. And I heard from my students, Middle Temple provide free drinks. Is that correct or just a myth?
Yes, during the dinner, they do provide you one bottle of wine for each section of table, like red wine and white wine. So that's quite nice. But they still have like alcohol limits, so we don't get too much. But yeah, just enough to be classy. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a bonus. But anyway, quite good to know about the women, the first barristers to fight for the women's right, and that makes the history, and now women can practice in the legal field as well. Good to know. Thank you. And Arvin, what about you?
Before I start, I also wanted to say that Lincoln's also provides free alcohol
Oh,
during the
really?
dinners. Yep. So
Okay.
yeah, but for me it's a bit of a different reason because mine is more of a personal reason because my dad, who's a lawyer as well, he actually graduated from
Ah,
Lincoln's like 50 years ago. So that's one of the main
congrats.
reasons I actually chose Lincoln's. And aside from that, I also have a lot of friends who go to Lincoln's, and it's one of the more, I would say, I didn't expect it to be as much Malaysians in Lincoln because I feel before I applied, a lot of people has the saying where Middle Temple is where all the Malaysians go. But when I went for my first qualifying session, I think more than 50% of Lincoln was actually Malaysians. So it was a pleasant surprise to definitely see so many Malaysians there as well. But yeah, I think that if you were to plan to do your bar course within London, because I think Lincoln's sessions are a bit more spread out, I would definitely recommend Lincoln's. But if you, let's say, were to do it from outstation, like I had a friend who came over from Northumbria the other day for the Middle Temple sessions, and he came down for just about 2-3 days, and he managed to attend about 4 sessions in that day. So he got about 4 qualifying sessions in about 2-3 days. So I definitely think that that would be quite beneficial if you plan to do outside of London.
That is good to know. And how amazing it is, because once you register to become a member, that would be a lifetime memberships. And since your dad's register Lincoln's Inn, and now you also a member, how amazing, father and sons together belong to a same Inns of Court. Good to know. Thank you. And I think many students, especially no matter whether English is your first language or not, I think a lot of students quite struggle with the public speaking and advocacy. So from your point of view, or from based on your experience, this is very important as well if you want to be succeed in the bar program. So how you can advise, what advices you can provide to the current students if they planning to take up the bar programs in the future? So would you like mind to share from your opinion or any advices that you can share? Christina, yes?
Yes, so basically, I would advise to try and join voting or like debating competitions. And you can always sign up to attend like court hearings near you so you can see how it goes in real life. And if that is too much, you can always watch videos online because they're always recorded for public view. And the other thing I would say, the biggest mistake I did was like I didn't sign up for any mini pupillage when I was in undergrad. But mini pupillage is very valuable for your CV when you apply for pupillage after you finish a bar course. So try to get mini pupillages and just any kind of legal experience anyway. And the other thing is I would say get informed on the current news because basically any kind of interviews, whether it be mini pupillages or like scholarship interviews, they always ask on current news. The most popular ones would be like your view on the right to protest or like the current, because there's a new law on the right to protest or like strikes. And maybe just you can plan your answer in advance, but don't get too scripted. And you can usually they'll ask about your strengths, how you manage time, how do you show you have resilience, or like sometimes they'll ask what's a law or like a case decision that you don't agree with and why. So their questions usually surround these kind of questions. So you can prepare your answer in advance, but just get informed on current news, and you don't have to worry too much about English not being your first language. I was really worried about it when I first started because I don't sound that fluent. But they don't really care as long as you can present your case or like your points clearly. You don't even have to talk quickly because people tend to do that a lot. But you don't have to talk quickly as long as people understand your points, and you can always practice your skill by like just leadership roles in your societies in undergrad maybe, but yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Christina. And Shannen, like to share about your thought?
Yes, I think one way to improve advocacy is to be more confident in public speaking, which I didn't have before this. I mean, I still don't, but I think I do have a little right now. But before this, I was really shy. But I think I was advised by a lot of my seniors. They said you need to be more confident, even though you're scared, but you just have to do it anyway, because since you're already there, why waste the opportunity? And also, like Christina said, you should consider rooting or any debate clubs because it helps you with your figure of speech. And yeah, I think another advice is to be aware of the little details in case facts because that's the tricky parts. Even though it's very, very simple and you think it's like it's just there to make context, but it's not. There's always a meaning to it. Like there's a reason why it's there. And I think that's a big contribution to our marks in the final exam because if you disregard that, then it will change your whole answer. So yeah, like Christina said as well, you don't need English to be your first language because you just need a good presentation of your submission, like your points and the way you present it. Because what I think I've read a book recently, it's called The Devil's Advocate. It says it doesn't matter what language you speak, it's how you persuade the court, it's how you persuade the juries. And I think that's really important to know because anyone has the right to be an advocate, and you don't have to be a certain person to be entitled to learn it. Yeah.
Thank you, Shannen. I cannot agree more that if you want to be a very good speaker and convincing people, that the most essential that you need to be confident to what you're saying. So you cannot be confident until you prepare enough. So get the facts, get everything prepared and speak confidently, then that you'll be partly okay. And even though if you're not English is not your first language. Thank you. Arvin, please.
My main point would practically be around what Shannon said. confidence is definitely key for this. Like, if you have any opportunity in the past as well, or like even now where you for like debating or mooting, you definitely should take it up because it really does help a lot. Because when you go into class to give your talk on, let's say, like submission advocacy, they even like take down the minor details like your eye contact, your body movement, your posture. So by naturally talking a lot, like or debating a lot or speaking a lot in terms of facts, you will naturally come easier for like eye contact and like body language and everything. So confidence as well as like body language is the main point for it. I also feel like you should definitely like keep yourself well versed, like what Christina said earlier. Keep up with the news nowadays. For me, I've been quite lucky. My submission advocacy class in BPP is only 5 people. So, and we're all quite close to each other because we have our other classes together as well. So before the class, even when the teacher comes in, we'll just talk about the latest news like that happened, like just go around the news before the class starts to make it a bit more of like a homelier and easier feeling for you to talk. So I feel like it's always good to just keep yourself at ease, be confident, even if you're slow a bit, it's really fine. Just make sure your point is heard rather than speeding up and getting through it all. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Arvin. So another key is apart from doing well in your law degree, you also need to keep up with the current news and things like that. You cannot get away from the news and the current trends. So yeah, the next one I think that is essential for students to know that you can apply the bar program by yourself. You can apply directly to the university or through the professional team like PDVL that we providing the application services to students so that you can actually preparing all the documents to us, then we hand it and submit and deal with the university, and whatever needed from the university will come back to you. And then later on, the application, if you accept the offers, then we will help you for visa. So would Christina, you can speak your experience with PDVL so far for your application. Thank you.
Yeah, so PDVL was very helpful and patient. I was struggling with applying for my visa like beginning of this year. It's because I've heard like you can't apply from within UK, and I was in the UK and I was having a really tough time. But they helped me sort it out. You can apply for a visa from within the UK, everyone. But yeah, it's just I can't thank you enough. I was even like contemplating flying back just to get my visa sorted out. But yeah.
Finger crossed, all sorted, and the speed of processing also very quick. And
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott. And I know Shannen also applying from within the UK. And then how do you comment about our services? And then how would you want to share a bit about your experience? Thank you.
I agree with Christina. PDVL is very, very helpful, especially you and Tilo.
Thank you.
You help me a lot ever since my final year of degree until now. I did apply within the UK because I didn't fly back to Malaysia, sadly. But yeah, I think applying within the UK is much faster than
Yes.
flying back home, because when I applied, I already got an update about it the next day, and I didn't even have to go through any interview or collect any BRP because we just have to do it online now. But yeah, PDVL has been there for me since my final year of degree, and even, I mean, they didn't just help me with my education. They also tried to help me find accommodation before I came here. And I think that's really helpful coming from an education like agency. And Tilo has been there for me, like not just to advise me on what to do, but she was also there for me emotionally, and also like she's very supportive of me. There was one time where I don't know what to choose, whether just the bar course or LLM, and she she listed out, she took her time off her busy schedule to list out the pros and cons for both. And with like a lot of thinking, I took Master of Law bar course because she told me it's more worth it. And as far as I'm in my Masters of Law bar course right now, I can agree with her that it is worth it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, lastly, Arvin, thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of them. PDVL really helped me a lot throughout my entire process of applying. I felt like I was one of the more annoying students that Miss Lau had to deal with because I kept on
No.
applying very early on. I kept on bugging her really early on because I started my application, I think it was in November itself, like
Yeah.
October, November. So I started really early on because I didn't want it to get to the point where I had to focus on my studies as well as this. So I applied really early on for everything. I was really blur about everything, the visa things, the application to the courts, but she really helped me out in everything in general. And it was just really smooth, honestly, because I also applied for my visa within the UK. And surprisingly enough, I actually got it back within an hour. I remember it was really quick. They got back to me saying it was successful. And it was just a really smooth process, honestly. So I would definitely recommend PDVL.
Thank you, Arvin. And I think I found the commons between you three because you guys attended our bar event last year and you know what you want at the very beginning. And a lot of students with clear mind and they plan ahead. Usually they can be focused on the later very headache part, and that is very essential. So another tips for students for the application part, we see quite many of the students, they apply last minute and a lot of documents coming back and forth. It's just not about the results that we need from you. A lot of questions in the questionnaire, personal statement, written questionnaire, or the interview later on for maybe like University of Law, they have a selection event. So you don't want to deal with this when you are in the midst of preparing for your final exams or doing your dissertation or thesis. So a lot of students, if you really be in mind that you want to apply for law or register for a bar program, the top tips is to apply as early as you can. And today, as like for last year as well, we are offering a free Inns of Court memberships rebate to students. So if you are considering and you want to apply for the bar program for next year, and we offer the free memberships in rebate, so that you don't really need to come out from your pocket money, but you can enjoy all the free services that we personalize for all the students. You would get personal counselors like me to deal with students and giving advices. You can chat with us anything, any issues that you're facing. I know some of the company that may have many students, and then until the point that if you have any problems, or we have a bunch of students that are like struggle to get the final year results because of the marking boycott the last few months. So they did not get their final results, and there is a cut deadline for them to fulfill the requirement set by the bar providers. So all these students are very traumatized. So they will need to deal with the bar school and coming to deal with that and rushing for the visa as well. So we have a team fully backup students to deal with all this. So you can just leave everything to us to help to take care of application to deal with the university. And the best thing, you will also get your Inns of Court memberships rebate. Okay, is there any questions that you would want to know apart from the sharing from the few topics that we already talked about? You can just unmute yourself and ask seniors here, and they are very helpful and can share with anything that you would want to know.
Hello.
Yep.
I would like to ask a question. Anyone can answer.
Yep.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for sharing your experience. I think it's very important, and I learned a lot. One thing I would like to ask is that, what is the most like mentally challenging or stimulating thing that you wish you knew earlier before entering the bar course, like in terms of your mindset?
First of all, I'd like to know how to address you.
Yes, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Shanika. Hi,
Hello,
Miss Lo.
Shanika.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay.
So anyone would like to take up these questions? Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, it's not mentally, it's physically. So basically, we have this textbook. I don't know if you can see it, but
see.
we have we have to bring like two of them to class like
White
every
book?
week. Yeah, it's heavy, and this is a tip from me. When you guys go to collect the books or like textbooks, bring your luggage with you because you have to drag it around. But for emotionally, I would say it's a lot of reading, just a lot. If you think third year was a lot, it just gets worse. So just always read in advance, organize your time, but also make friends with others in your bar course so you're not like suffering alone, suffer together. So yeah, just prepare and organize your time and make sure to keep time for yourself and just get used to reading a lot, maybe even from third year or second year. But thank you for your question.
Thank you so much for answering my question.
We have a question from students here and asking about, is there any reimbursement for travels to be in London if we aren't there? I suppose student asking for let's say if you are not staying in London and if you're traveling down to London to attend the QS, whether the cost incurred is covered. Shannen, I think you're not living in London. So what you might share it?
So yeah, since I'm from Newcastle, for Middle Temple they don't charge you the entry fee, which is £50. So for London students, they charge you the entry fee. But if you're studying outside of London, you only have to pay the travel costs. And I'm sorry to say they do not compensate that for you. You have to pay for your own travel costs and to find your own place to stay. But Middle Temple do have like a lodge where you can rent. I'm not sure about the price, I mean the fees, but I think it's quite okay. But then if you don't want to stay inside Middle Temple, there's always a Malaysian hall in London. I heard there's a Malaysian hall, but last time when I wanted to book, I think it's still under construction. So maybe when you guys like start your bar, maybe it will reopen again. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I hope this answer your questions, Anint. And then I think the £50 that you mentioned, the entry the fee, is that the entry to the Inns of Courts every time that you got to pay, or it's just one time to pay?
I From what I have seen, so basically this fee is for the dinner qualifying sessions. So if you book in the website, it will ask you, are you outside of London or inside London? And if you choose inside London, it costs you £50. But if you choose outside of London, it's free because they consider the amount of, I mean, how much you pay to just come to London. So yeah, I think it's you have to pay for like dinners, but for other sessions, I haven't looked into that yet.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Is anything Christina and Arvin like you want to top up?
Yeah, so for us, our qualifying sessions are only £11. I didn't realize it was £50 for Middle Temple, but yeah, for us, our qualifying sessions is only £11 per session. And for the residential weekend I mentioned earlier, where you stayed for 3 days, 2 nights, it was £115, but it was worth 6 qualifying sessions. So if you divide it, it's not that much. And also for that residential weekend where you stay, they pay for your transport and meals and the place you stay and everything. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to add a bit to that as well and mention that for Lincoln's, at least I know, they have some sessions which is online. So it will actually help for if you're out of town, you don't really want to travel in. So it's online. And if you do travel in for Lincoln's, I remember if you're out of London student, you do get more qualifying session points for each session you attend. I think it's 3 compared to 1, which us London students get.
Oh, sorry. I would also, sorry.
Yeah.
I would also like to add, Middle Temple also has online events. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, but for those qualifying sessions that we have to attend in person, yeah, those are the costs.
Okay, right. Thank you. There is one more question here asking the main differences between an LLM and the PG diplomas in law BTC, besides the duration of the course and the tuition fee. I can speak in general, because different universities, they have a different structure, but the main vocational training part are standardized every university, and there are standardized and centralized exams for every student, no matter which bar providers you attending for the program. But LLM bits that would still go back to the bar provider. Maybe some specific programs offered by the University of Law and the BPP University would differ one to another. And the duration wise, of course, the bar program itself 8 to 9 months, but with LLM, it will extended for 1 year, a full 12 months program. So in general, I'm speaking in general, all the bar program you need to complete first the bar PG diploma, then only that you qualify to go to the bar, and the last bit that you completing towards the LLM. So bar then plus the LLM as a later part. So the fee with the LLM usually more expensive, but some bar providers make it the same, but it's just not always the one. So looking for the duration, bar only shorter, with LLM longer, and the fee wise for the bar only is cheaper, but it's not a lot of difference. So a lot of students considering, since I'm completing a bar program and I would probably later on going into the pupillage or chambering, so I would not really have a time for LLM. And if you want to have a master title in your certificate, then that would be best to have an LLM integrates into the program, so you can sekaligus you complete in one go, and then focusing on your chambering. Yep. Thank you. And I hope this answer your questions. But other than that, is there any points that you want to top up as student?
Yeah, so the bar practice course is necessary for you to get called to the bar to practice as a barrister, but the Masters of Law is just an additional qualification. So you have to do the BPC or BPC to be a barrister, but you don't necessarily have to do the Masters of Law. That's just an extra qualification if you want to add it to your title, like what Auntie said. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to add as well. I feel like a lot of people beforehand might be a bit worried about whether the workload is too much if you do the masters, but I just wanted to mention that it's completely separate. So you go through your BTC course for the first, at least in BPP, it's completely separate. So you go through the BTC course for the first 8 months-ish, and then after that, the last 3 months is just fully focused on your dissertation for your masters.
Yeah, that's just the thing. So it's not like be together and then imagine it's actually before that together, but then bar standard boards make it a separate one. So it's a good and plus points for students. And a lot of students before that, you probably heard from your seniors that very, very difficult and tough if you're doing the LLM at the end. So yep, I think we are running quite behind the schedule, and thank you for everyone's attending the session today, and especially I cannot thank you guys more, Christina, Shannen, and Arvin, to sparing your time to share to students. And I hope you guys, students, you can bring back some tips and very essential information, especially if you're doing final year right now. So yeah, thank you everyone for the sessions, and having good day, good evening for everyone's. And I would like to end the sessions. Thank you and bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.